Have you ever wondered what a city looks like beneath the sea? It is not a city of concrete and steel but one of living stone and vibrant color. This is the coral reef, a bustling metropolis teeming with life. It is as busy and complex as any human city on land. Here, millions of creatures live their lives in an intricate dance of survival and cooperation. Every nook and cranny is a home, every patch of coral a neighborhood. The reef is a world of its own, governed by the rhythm of the sun and the tides. It is a place of incredible beauty, but also one of constant activity, where the struggle for life plays out every single moment of the day and night. Imagine skyscrapers that are not built, but grown. These are the corals, ancient architects of this underwater world. They create vast, sprawling structures that reach towards the sunlight filtering down from the surface. In the streets and alleyways of this coral city, a diverse population goes about its daily business. Tiny fish dart through the coral branches like busy commuters. Larger predators patrol the open water, the guardians of the reef's boundaries. Every inhabitant has a role to play, a job to do, contributing to the health and vitality of the entire community. This is a society built on connections, where the survival of one often depends on the actions of many others. The reef is a place of endless discovery. Its citizens come in every imaginable shape, size and color. There are the flamboyant parrotfish, dressed in robes of turquoise and pink, who crunch on coral for their meals. There are the shy, secretive octopuses, masters of camouflage who can vanish into their surroundings in the blink of an eye. There are tiny, cleaner shrimp that run service stations for larger fish, picking parasites from their scales and gills. The sheer variety of life is staggering, a testament to the power of evolution to fill every possible niche. This city never truly sleeps, it simply changes its rhythm as day turns to night. And like any great city, the reef has its own unique atmosphere. It has its own sounds, its own light, its own energy. The constant crackle and pop of snapping shrimp is the background hum of the metropolis. The gentle swish of water moving over the coral is the wind in its streets. The shafts of sunlight that pierce the water's surface are the spotlights that illuminate its spectacular stage. To witness a day on the reef is to see nature at its most creative and its most collaborative. It is to understand that even in the depths of the ocean, life finds a way to build something truly magnificent and enduring. The day begins in darkness and silence. The great city of the reef is quiet, resting under a blanket of deep blue. Most of its daytime residents are hidden away, tucked into crevices and caves for safety. The night shift, the nocturnal hunters and scavengers, are finishing their work. A lone moray eel, its long body winding through the coral, returns to its lair after a night of searching for food. The stars above are invisible here, but a change is coming. A faint, almost imperceptible lightening of the water signals the approach of dawn. The deep, inky blue begins to soften, shifting to a gentle violet on the eastern horizon. The sun is rising. Slowly, gracefully, the first rays of sunlight begin to pierce the ocean's surface. They slant down through the water like golden spears, illuminating the particles that drift in the current. The light brings with it a new warmth, a new energy. It touches the highest peaks of the coral formations first, painting them in soft, pale hues. As the sun climbs higher, the light penetrates deeper, chasing away the shadows of the night. The colors of the reef, which were muted and gray in the darkness, begin to re-emerge. Pinks, yellows and greens start to glow with a gentle iridescence. The city is slowly waking from its slumber. The change is not just visual, it is a change you can feel. The water temperature begins to rise ever so slightly. The currents seem to shift with the changing light, and with the light comes the first stirrings of the reef's daytime inhabitants. A small damselfish peeks out from its home in an anemone, its bright orange body a tiny flame in the growing light. It ventures out, then quickly darts back. Soon, another follows, and then another. They are the first commuters of the morning, testing the safety of the new day before committing to the open water. The city is beginning to stir with cautious optimism. All across the reef, this gentle awakening is being repeated. In countless nooks and crannies, sleepy eyes are opening. Fish stretch their fins, shaking off the stillness of the night. A school of silver-sided fusiliers which spent the night huddled together in a coral cave for protection, begins to shimmer and move as one. They flow out from their shelter like a river of mercury, ready to begin their daily search for plankton. The quiet of the night is slowly being replaced by the gentle sounds of movement. The great underwater metropolis is preparing for another busy day of life. The coral itself is the first to truly greet the sun. These are not just rocks, they are colonies of tiny animals called polyps. During the night, these polyps extend their delicate tentacles into the water to catch passing morsels of food. But as the first light touches them, a remarkable transformation begins. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, they begin to retract their tentacles. They pull themselves back into the safety of their hard, limestone skeletons. They do this because they are no longer the primary source of their own food. The sun has brought with it a new opportunity, a partnership that fuels the entire reef ecosystem. Within the tissues of each coral polyp live microscopic algae called zooxanthellae. These tiny plant-like organisms are the coral's power source. Like plants on land, they use sunlight to perform photosynthesis. This process converts sunlight into energy-rich sugars. The coral polyp provides the algae with a safe home and the raw materials they need, like carbon dioxide. In return, the algae provide the coral with up to 90% of its food. This incredible partnership is what allows corals to build their massive, city-like structures in the nutrient-poor waters of the tropics. It is a perfect example of symbiosis, of two different life forms working together for mutual benefit. As the sun's rays intensify, this process kicks into high gear. The entire reef becomes a vast, living solar panel. The algae work tirelessly, photosynthesizing and producing the food that sustains their coral hosts. This process is also what gives the corals their spectacular colors. The vibrant greens, browns, and golden hues are not from the coral animal itself, but from the billions of tiny algae living within its tissues. The brighter the sunlight, the more active the algae, and the more brilliant the colors of the reef appear. The city is not just waking up, it is powering up for the day ahead. This morning ritual is essential for the health of the entire reef community. The energy produced by the corals and their algae forms the very foundation of the food web. It is this energy that supports the vast numbers of fish, invertebrates, and other creatures that call the reef home. The coral's awakening is a signal to all other inhabitants that the day has truly begun. The food factory is open for business. The gentle, silent work of these tiny polyps and their even tinier partners is what makes all the hustle and bustle of the reef city possible. It is a quiet but profoundly important start to the day. As the sun climbs higher in the sky, the reef is no longer silent. It is filled with a rich tapestry of sounds, a symphony composed by its many inhabitants. If you were to listen closely, you would hear that the ocean is far from a quiet place. The most dominant sound is a constant gentle crackling, like the sound of frying bacon or a crackling fire. This is the sound of thousands upon thousands of tiny snapping shrimp. Hidden in the reef's crevices, they snap their oversized claws to communicate, to stun prey, or to defend their territory. Their collective noise creates a constant background hum, the ambient sound of the reef city. But this crackling is just the foundation of the reef's orchestra. Layered on top of it are the sounds of the fish. Many fish communicate using a variety of grunts, croaks, and clicks. A grouper might produce a deep booming sound to warn off rivals from its territory. A small damselfish might make a series of rapid clicks to signal alarm to its neighbors. These sounds travel through the water, carrying messages of warning, courtship, and territorial claims. The reef is a world of constant communication, a network of signals that helps to organize the complex society of its residents. It is a conversation that never truly ceases. Another key sound is the crunching and scraping of the grazers. Parrotfish, with their powerful beak-like mouths, are some of the most important sound producers. They scrape algae off the surface of the coral skeletons, and in doing so, they also bite off small chunks of the coral itself. The sound is a loud, distinctive crunch that can be heard from many meters away. This is not an act of destruction, but a vital cleaning service. By keeping the algae in check, the parrotfish prevent it from overgrowing and smothering the coral. Their noisy eating is in fact essential for the reef's long-term health. The movement of water itself adds another layer to the symphony. The gentle surge of the waves on the surface creates a low, rhythmic whoosh as it passes over the reef. The currents whisper as they flow through the intricate channels and branches of the coral. The combined effect of all these sounds creates a vibrant and dynamic soundscape. It is the sound of a healthy, thriving ecosystem. It is the sound of life itself, echoing through the underwater corridors of this magnificent city beneath the waves. With the sun now high in the sky, the reef city is in the midst of its morning rush hour. The open water above the coral is a flurry of activity. like a busy intersection filled with traffic. Huge schools of fish move in graceful, coordinated patterns. Blue and yellow fusiliers numbering in the thousands flow like a single, shimmering organism. They move out from the reef shelter into the open water to feed on the tiny plankton that drifts in the currents. Their synchronized movements are a defense against predators. It is much harder for a hunter to single out one fish from a constantly moving, glittering mass of thousands. Closer to the coral itself, smaller fish are going about their own daily errands. Brightly colored butterfly fish, often moving in pairs, flit delicately among the coral branches. They use their long, thin snouts to pick out tiny invertebrates and coral polyps from the tightest of spaces. They are the specialists, the selective shoppers of the reef. Nearby, a group of surgeonfish, named for the sharp scalpel-like spines at the base of their tails, graze together on patches of algae. They move across the reef like a herd of cattle, methodically clearing sections of the coral surface, their vibrant blue and yellow bodies a striking sight against the reef. Not all the commuters are fish. A green sea turtle, an ancient mariner of the seas, glides gracefully over the reef. It is a visitor from the open ocean, coming to the reef to rest and to feed. It might be looking for a tasty meal of sponges or jellyfish. The turtle moves with an unhurried elegance, its powerful flippers propelling it through the water with effortless strokes. Other invertebrates are also on the move. A brightly colored nudibranch, a type of sea slug, crawls slowly across a sponge, its flamboyant frills and colors warning potential predators that it is toxic and not good to eat. Every creature has its destination and its purpose. This constant movement is not random chaos. It is a well-organized system driven by the need to find food, to find mates, and to avoid becoming food for someone else. The reef provides the structure for this daily commute. The coral formations create highways and hiding places. The currents deliver food and carry away waste. The relationships between the different species dictate where they go and what they do. A cleaner wrasse sets up its station on a prominent piece of coral, and larger fish will queue up, waiting patiently for their turn to be cleaned of parasites. It is a complex, interconnected web of activity, the daily lifeblood of the city. While many of the reef's inhabitants are busy grazing or feeding on plankton, others are on the hunt. The predators of the reef are essential for maintaining balance in the ecosystem. A sleek white-tip reef shark patrols the edges of the coral, its movements smooth and efficient. It's not a mindless killer, but a careful hunter, using its keen sense of smell to search for sick or injured fish. It often rests on the sandy bottom during the day, but it is always aware, always ready for an opportunity. Its presence keeps the populations of other fish in check, ensuring that no single species becomes too numerous. Other hunters rely on different strategies. A well-camouflaged scorpion fish lies perfectly still on a rocky ledge. Its mottled skin blends in perfectly with the surrounding rock and algae, making it virtually invisible. It waits with immense patience for a smaller, unsuspecting fish to swim too close. When the moment is right, it lunges forward with incredible speed, its huge mouth opening wide to engulf its prey in an instant. This ambush strategy is highly effective, a deadly game of hide and seek. The scorpionfish is a master of disguise, a hidden danger in the heart of the city. Not all hunters are large. The peacock mantis shrimp, one of the most remarkable residents of the reef, is a small but fearsome predator. It lives in a burrow in the sand or rubble. It has the most complex eyes in the animal kingdom, able to see polarized light and a spectrum of colors far beyond human capability. But its real weapons are its two front appendages. It can strike with these clubs at the speed of a bullet, fast enough to boil the water around them. This powerful punch can shatter the shell of a crab or snail with a single blow. It is a small but mighty warrior of the reef. Among the coral branches, other dramas unfold. A giant moray eel, which hunts mostly at night, may still be tempted by a passing meal during the day. It peers out from its rocky crevice, its mouth slightly agape as it tastes the water for the scent of prey. Its snake-like body is pure muscle, capable of ambushing fish and octopuses that stray too close to its den. These hunters, from the patrolling shark to the hidden scorpionfish and the powerful mantis shrimp, play a crucial role. They are the police force of the reef, maintaining order and ensuring the health and diversity of the entire community. As the sun reaches its highest point in the sky, a subtle change comes over the reef. The frantic activity of the morning begins to subside, replaced by a period of relative calm. The intense tropical sun beats down on the surface of the water, and the temperature is at its peak. For many of the reef's inhabitants, this is a time for rest, a siesta, in the underwater city. The large schools of fish that were feeding in the open water often retreat to the shade and safety of the coral overhangs. They hang almost motionless in the water, conserving energy during the hottest part of the day. This midday lull is a time for maintenance and social interaction. At the cleaning stations, business is still brisk. A large grouper hovers patiently, its mouth wide open as a tiny cleaner wrasse bravely swims inside. The wrasse picks off parasites and dead skin from the grouper's gills and teeth. This is a relationship built on trust. The grouper gets a vital cleaning service and the wrasse gets an easy meal. The grouper could easily swallow the small fish, but it does not. It understands the value of the service, and so the little wrasse is safe. Many different species will visit these stations throughout the day. Even the corals seem to enter a state of calm. Their photosynthetic activity is at its peak under the direct sunlight, and they are working hard to produce energy. From the outside, however, they appear still and serene, the silent, steadfast architecture of the city. On the sandy patches between the coral heads, other creatures take their rest. A stingray might bury itself in the sand, with only its eyes and spiracles visible. It is hiding from potential predators like sharks, and also waiting for small crustaceans to wander by. The midday heat makes many creatures less active, and the pace of life slows down. This period of calm also offers a different perspective on the reef's beauty. With less frantic movement, the intricate details of the coral structures become more apparent. The gentle sway of soft corals in the current, the vibrant colors of the sponges, and the delicate patterns on the shells of giant clams are easier to appreciate. It is a time for observation, a moment to take in the sheer complexity and artistry of this natural wonder. The city is not asleep, but simply resting, gathering its strength for the activities of the afternoon, and the dramatic changes that will come with the setting of the sun. As the afternoon wears on, the sun begins its slow descent towards the western horizon. The light changes once again. The bright direct light of midday softens into long golden shafts that slant through the water. This is the signal for another great changeover on the reef. The daytime inhabitants know that their time in the open is coming to an end. The predators of the night will soon be awakening. A sense of urgency returns to the reef. The daytime fish begin to feed more actively, trying to get one last meal before they must seek shelter for the night. The city prepares for the shift change. The schools of fusiliers and chromis that spent the day feeding in the blue water begin to stream back towards the safety of the reef. They pour over the coral in great rivers of color, a spectacular sight in the fading light. They must find their chosen hiding places before darkness falls completely. A parrotfish, which has been crunching on coral all day, finds a suitable crevice. In a remarkable act of self-preservation, it begins to secrete a mucus cocoon around its body. This transparent sleeping bag will hide its scent from nocturnal hunters like moray eels, keeping it safe while it sleeps. As the sun dips below the horizon, the reef is bathed in the magical light of twilight. The colors become deep and saturated. For a brief period, two worlds overlap. The last of the daytime fish are settling down, while the first of the nocturnal creatures are beginning to emerge. The coral polyps, which have been retracted all day, slowly begin to extend their tentacles once more. They are preparing to feed in the darkness. The reef is transforming from a city powered by sunlight to one that thrives on the life that drifts in the night currents. The night shift is clocking on. Darkness falls quickly in the tropics. Soon the reef is completely transformed. The familiar shapes and colors of the day are gone, replaced by a world of shadows and silhouettes. New creatures now command the reef. The feathery arms of crinoids or feather stars unfurl from their hiding places to filter food from the water. Lobsters and crabs emerge from their dens to scavenge on the reef floor. The hunters of the night, like the moray eels and the larger sharks, are now at their most active. The symphony of the reef has changed its tune. The pops and crackles of the snapping shrimp are now joined by the clicks and rustles of the nocturnal army. The city is alive with a different kind of energy. The cycle of day and night on the coral reef is a timeless rhythm, a story of life that has been repeating for millions of years. This underwater metropolis, with its vibrant citizens and intricate connections, is one of the most diverse and productive ecosystems on our planet. It is a world of breathtaking beauty, a testament to the power of nature to create complex societies built on cooperation and balance. From the smallest polyp to the largest shark, every creature has a role to play in the health and survival of this magnificent kingdom. It is a finely tuned system, where nothing is wasted, and everything is connected. But this ancient kingdom is in grave danger. Coral reefs are incredibly sensitive to changes in their environment. The warming of our oceans, caused by climate change, is putting them under immense stress. When the water gets too warm, the corals expel the vital algae living in their tissues. This is called coral bleaching. Without their algae, the corals turn ghostly white and begin to starve. If the warm temperatures persist, the corals will die, and the entire city will crumble into ruin. Pollution from the land and destructive fishing practices also add to the pressure on these delicate ecosystems. The loss of a coral reef is not just the loss of pretty colors. It is the collapse of an entire civilization. The millions of creatures that depend on the coral for food and shelter will disappear. The coastlines that are protected by the reefs will be left vulnerable. The human communities that depend on the reefs will lose their livelihoods. The silence that would fall over a dead reef would be a tragic testament to what we have lost. The vibrant, crackling symphony of life would be replaced by an empty, echoing quiet. We are at a critical moment in time. The fate of these beautiful underwater cities is in our hands. We must act to protect them. By reducing our carbon footprint, we can help to slow the warming of the oceans. By preventing pollution from reaching the sea, and by supporting sustainable fishing, we can give the reefs a fighting chance to recover. These fragile kingdoms are a gift from nature, a shared heritage for all of humanity. They are a reminder of the incredible beauty and complexity of life on Earth. We must listen to their silent plea and work together to ensure that the sun continues to rise on a living, breathing city beneath the waves for generations to come.